Okay, so since we've learned all this XSL, I think we can now move a little bit faster. So first of all, I'm going to show you how I actually structure my project, and then I will explain you why I'm doing so. To begin, I usually go to Workspace, and in here I create a new folder called Theme, where I will keep all of the files related to my front-end theme. So in this folder, I usually create another folder called Resources, and in this folder I keep all my CSS, images and JavaScript that are related to my theme specifically. So another folder that I also create is Pages, where I keep all the XSL templating child pages that I'm going to use throughout my template. And then I also have create another folder called Partials, where I keep reusable pieces of my template. And we'll see later how all this connects together. So the next thing I do is I usually drag my workspace folder here in my Sublime Text Editor so that I have nice overview of all my project files, and then I just hide some of my folders that I don't currently need. So let me do just that. Okay, so now we are just left with these three folders, and here is the Symphony folder for pages, where Symphony will create our page XSL view when we create a new page in the administration. Then we have Utilities folder. Here we should usually keep all of our XSL utilities that aren't really specifically related to any page or any part of our template, like I don't know, date formatter, for example. If we have some XSL utility that is helping us format date in different ways, then we just put it here so that we can use it throughout our project. And now in my theme folder, let's go and create a new file, and we'll call this index.xsl. And this will be our master template, master page, whatever you want to call it. And in here we'll keep our child pages. Okay, so let me show you how a master page should look. So, as you can see, I have just pasted some HTML here along with our XSL stuff. And as you can see, this top part over here, this is just the boilerplate I was talking about in previous video. I've just, put all of this into one line so that it doesn't take up much space. And we are basically just concerned with this part over here. Now notice here we are defining a template, which is matching the whole, it's matching itself to the top of the document. You can think of it that way. And then we have just some basic HTML that's defining head. We have chars defined, and notice that we are using this self-closing tags. You cannot omit this. You will get an error if you omit this slash on self-closing tags. And I'm also linking some CSS, JavaScript. I have my header, my logo, branding, site name, whatever, and I have my menu, and I have some separators. I also have the main part, and here we will put the content that will be generated by our child pages. So for example, if we are on the home page, we will have all of this stuff that is same on all pages, and we will just put the featured flowers in here. If we are, for example, on the transactions page, then we will just put transactions over here and keep everything else the same, so that we do not repeat ourselves, and also so that we don't have a bunch of this boilerplate stuff in our child pages. Okay. So let's see how we can connect this master page to our home page. Now I will just go and delete all of this. We'll just recreate this later. We don't need it at the moment, like so. And let's include our index.xsl. Now we are currently in the pages home XSL, so we are in the pages directory, and this is exactly the same as you would match the nodes. And if you would, for example, use our system on the console, this is exactly the way how you would navigate your file structure, what I'm about to show you. So we first of all need to get from pages folder into the workspace folder, and we do this by typing 2 dots, so they mark that we are moving upwards in the hierarchy, and then we put slash, and we want to get into the theme folder, and we want to get the index.xsl. Okay, so as you can see, it is now much more cleaner. We see that on the home page we are using our index.xsl as the master page, and of course you can have multiple master pages and you can combine them with child pages. I'll show you this later. And let's see what happens if we refresh the page. And as you can see, we are getting all the stuff defined in the master page. Now, no CSS is being loaded, or JavaScript for that matter, so let me just open the debugger, and as you can see it says failed to load blah 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 jQuery index CSS logo and whatever. Okay, so let's go and fix this. Actually, first let's take a look at why it can't load this. As you can see, it's the wrong path, because our resources folder is in the theme directory in the workspace. So first of all, let me just copy the files that I have prepared, because folders are empty at the moment. So I've put these 3 folders that contain my CSS, JavaScript and everything else in my resource folder within the theme folder, and we can see all of this here as well. So now we should work on fixing the path to those files. So we could do something like this. We could copy this root path, paste it over here, and we also know that then resources folder is contained within the workspace/theme folder. So now we should get our index CSS in here. So let's refresh, and as you can see, now we have some styling in here. Great, but what if we, for example, change the domain name or the directory in which we are holding our Symphony installation? Now, this is obviously not a good design, so we need to somehow future-proof this. And for that, we can take a look at in our debugger. So let me quickly open this. And if we take a look at the params, we can see that we have a workspace node which generates a URL to our workspace. We also have a root node that generates the root URL of our shop, and these two are very useful for accessing files or creating links to certain pages. But we also have params, which are handy variables that are created for us so that we don't have to match all these paths. But keep in mind that this will most likely be removed in the next version of Symphony, so that you will only be able to access the this XML nodes over here. So let's see how we can use a variable name in our template. So we need what did it say? Workspace. Okay, so we can just copy this name, and instead of all this stuff in here, we said that in regular HTML elements we can only access within the properties of the regular HTML elements. We can output the values, XSL values, by using curly braces. So I'll just place workspace over here, and just keep in mind that workspace does not have the slash at the end, so we need to add this as well to make everything work properly. And let's refresh the page and see if everything still works. And there we go. we still get styles loaded. So let's fix all other URLs like this as well. So actually we need the theme directory as well for this, like so. Logo, this is within the resources img directory, and that is all we have here. So let's refresh and see if we get our logo, and sure enough we do. Okay, so there's one more thing that we need to fix. As you can see, we have 2006 here, but it's 2016 right now. So we can simply again use some of these handy variables so that we don't have to manually update the year every time. So actually I'm currently in the XML, so I'm just going to switch to XSLT, and let's use val. So we are just outputting the value of this year variable. And notice that here we do not use curly braces because this is within the XSL namespace. So let's see if we have changed this. Great. Now we first need to fix our menu. That's the next thing. So let's make it menu, let's make it horizontal menu, and let's also make it the main menu. These are just some CSS classes that I have defined previously so that we can get the horizontal menu, and I'll also just create the menus that we actually want, like so. And if we refresh the page, we should get these menu items here. Great. So this is nice, but you know, what if we have much more complicated menu, or if we are generating a menu from a data source or something like that, then we would need to put some logic here and it would get all messy. So let's separate our menu into its own file, and for that we will use partial. So let's create a new partial for the menu. Let's call it menu XSL, and I'll just paste this here quickly, and let's just copy all of this. And as I said, this is already defined. It's enough to define this thing once in our master page, so we can simply remove that. I'll just close these tags, our style sheet and template. Great. Okay. And now we need to somehow connect our menu and index.xsl, and we can do obviously this in the same way that we have connected index.xsl and home. So I'm just going to copy this include stuff over here. We need to put include all includes outside of the template tag, but within the style sheet tag, node or whatever. And let's include partial / menu.xsl. And now we also need to call this menu template. So we are currently matching our menu to the root, but that's not really, you know, we don't really need to match our menu to anything because we are not accessing any node data at the moment. So I'm just going to put a star here which says, okay, you know, I don't care at what you are matching, just match it whatever. And we'll also make this we'll define a mode for this template, and the mode will be called the menu. And in this way you can, you know, add more specificity to our templates. So for example, you would have let's check the debugger. You could have two data sections. At this moment we only have one data section, but every data section, you know, groups its entries with the entry node. And because of that, if we have template that matches an entry, we could accidentally try and apply this template to I don't know, transactions and not featured flowers. So for that purpose we can use mode to add more specificity to our templates. So for now we'll just put star, which means match anything, and yeah, now we need to call this template. So apply template, select whatever, and the mode will be menu. Okay, and let's see if we are still getting our menu in here, and an error. It says that it cannot load our menu file, so let's see where I made a mistake. It's not partial but partials. So let's refresh this now and it should work. My computer got a little bit slow for a moment there. Okay, so that would be all we have to do around our master page. So let's now create a child page for our home page. Let's create a new file, home.xsl, and let's just paste some basic data. So let's say, I don't know, hello from home. Okay, now we are matching this template to the data, but this will not always be the case. You might want to match your child page to data flowers or something like that. So we cannot just, you know, output this content in here by saying that we want to select data. And for that purpose we can just use apply templates without any properties or parameters, whatever you want to call them. We can just say apply templates, and then XSL engine will try to apply the first template that could fit within this context. So we can just leave this here, and we will not include our home XSL within our master page, because then we would have our home info from our home child page on every page, and we want this stuff to only show on the home page. We actually want to include this in our home.xsl. So let's do this here, theme pages /home, like so, and let's refresh the page, and now we are getting hello from home. Okay, so that's all for this video. We've seen the master page, we have seen partials, and we have seen child pages, how we would do child pages in Symphony.